Good Vidya. Refer again to the passage above. Inferences, the government wants to increase unemployment. We may safely assume that unemployment is a problem for all governments. So the correct inference would be that no government wants to increase unemployment. This makes the given inference definitely false. See the next one. Passage. The rights of the child in broad terms are not a new concept for the country, as they were enshrined in our constitution in its directive principles. But a chasm lies agape between practice and precept. The government adopted a national policy for children way back in 1974 and started the ambitious Integrated Child Development Services (ICDS) scheme the next year. But there was little progress. However, today, nearly 4 decades down the line, the situation is poised for a big takeoff, with political will backed up by enhanced funds. Inference. The directive principles are not something new for the country. The first line says that the rights of the child are not a new concept for the country because that is, these rights were enshrined, that is, included, in the directive principles of the country's constitution. Here the speaker assumes that the constitution of the country is not something new. And as readers, we should assume that the country means India. And from this, it follows deductively that the directive principles are not something new, given that they are a part of the constitution. The deductive basis is that Y being part of X and X being Z, Y must also be Z. In other words, the rights of the child being a directive principle of the Constitution and the Constitution being not new, it is implicit that the idea of the rights of the child is also not new. And since the concept of the rights of the child is a directive principle of the Constitution, it is implicit that the directive principle are also not new for the country. 1 is the right choice. See Vidya, if the given inference is, the political will to realize children's rights may have been lacking initially. The last sentence of the passage implies that the situation on the child rights front is set for a big improvement now that it has the backing of political will and increased funding. Since the presence of political will has given rise to hopes of improvement today, it is highly likely that lack of political will was the reason for lack of improvement earlier. Thus, we are certain that the inference is true. So, checking for the definite, non-definite word aspect, we find that the inference says may have been lacking, which is non-definite, not was lacking, which would have been definite. So we will have to mark the answer as 1, that is, definitely true, not 2, which is probably true.